Hello everyone, so in this video I'm going to be designing, or rather attempt to design, this Palladian old-time classic style architectural building in AutoCAD Architecture. I've never done anything like this before, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all turns out. Now, this video is going to be quite comprehensive, so I've added timestamps below the like button to help you navigate through the different sections. And of course, we will be covering a variety of tools, workflows. A lot of things are going to be dropped in this video. I don't know if I said that properly, but you know, we come from Jamaica, so you don't know the thing. Anyways, grab your mouse or your mice and let's go. So for those of you who are new to AutoCAD Architecture, this tool is amazing for architects and designers who are looking to go beyond just the 2D designs that we would normally get with the regular vanilla AutoCAD. Now, working in a 3D environment does open up a world of possibilities and enhances our ability to deliver exceptional designs to our clients. And so these 3D designs does allow for a much faster workflow, quicker generations of various views, whether it be elevation views, section views, and also detailed reports, not to mention having an actual 3D model that we can showcase or do walkthroughs or provide renders for our clients. Again, if you are new to all of this stuff, you are in the right place, because I'm going to be starting from the very beginning in this video, where we will set up the project, then we'll get our hands dirty with actual virtual design modeling. After you watch this video in its entirety, and if you desire to go deeper with AutoCAD Architecture, visit my website. I'll drop the link in the first pinned comment below. And yeah, there you will have the opportunity to join my beginner to intermediate level class. And also there's a community over there where students share their questions. And of course, I am the instructor, so I will answer your question. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, let's start chatting and yapping and get into the video. So I'm going to pull this over to my second screen, and I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new project. Project browser, I'm going to go back one, and I have a folder here called Palladian. I'm going to open that up, and in this folder I'm going to create my new project. I'm going to give it D18 as the project number, and I'm going to call this Palladian building and start from scratch. Okay, and my project has been created, and the first thing I want to do is to go in here, and I would like to do a couple of things. I want to go in here, and I'm going to pick my sheet template. So this is my sheet template here. I'm going to hit open, and we probably use the larger sheet, so we'll hit OK on that, apply, and then we will go into the views and also apply a template to this. But yeah, let's go to model, and I'm going to use my TD Vision model template. I'm going to hit OK. So my templates are all set, and then I'm going to hit close. And if we had a project template, the project template would also define all of the folder structure that we would have in here. I do have a project template, just so you guys know, but I chose not to use it for this video. I don't know why. That was kind of dumb, but let's just roll with the punches. Anyways, we could have added a description in here if we wanted to. You can click on this button to, you know, go back in, add your description in. What should I say here? Whatever. Okay. And then in detail information, we can add some stuff in here as well, like the site information, architectural information, structural, all of the organizational stuff. You could add them in here, but oops, we can add them later. Okay, so we're going to hit OK on that. You can see that the description was added in here, and then we will set up our levels. And based on this design, I want to say we will have 3 levels. I'm going to make this little portion down here to be 1 level. So I'm going to make this maybe 2 feet tall, and then I'm going to have a 10 feet tall first floor or level 1, and then another 10 feet up for level 2. So simple stuff. So let's pull that over and we will go into our levels here. And our first level is starting at 0, and it already have the 10 foot in there. Let's give it a name. Let's call it level 1. I'm gonna pull this out a little bit. Description, entry level. You can call it whatever you want. And then I'm going to right click here and say add level above. And this is going to be level 2. Starts at 10 feet and it's going to go up another 10. That's fine. We'll leave that ID to be 2. And then we're going to call this upper level. And then click on level 1 again, right click, and we're going to add a level below. So we go ahead and do that. And for this, we're going to make it -2 feet. And we want the height here to be 2 feet. That's important because, as you notice, these numbers move while you are entering the values here. That's because this is turned on. So it is auto calculating and adjusting as you enter the values. Your level 1 should always be at 0. All right. Always. So I'm going to name this here to be, I don't know. Let's call it level 0, whatever. Crawl space, if that's what it is. I don't know. We'll call it that. Call that 0. And we'll hit OK. So our levels are created. And for divisions, we'll have 1 division. And I'll call it main building. OK. That's it. So let's go to our constructs, and this is where we start to draw the actual 3D geometry, and this will be the main focus of this video today. We're not going to be doing views and we're not going to be doing sheets. I just want to focus on the 3D modeling aspect, which is underneath the construct tab. So we're going to right click on constructs here. We're going to say new, and let's create a category. It's always good to create subfolders to organize your drawings. So I'm going to call this architectural, and you can have multiple other subcategories under here, such as electrical, plumbing, mechanical, structural, all of that stuff. But since we're focusing on architectural, we will just have the architectural here. And you can create additional categories underneath architectural. Let's say you want to separate level 1 stuff from level 2, from level 3, whatever. Anyways, we will just have architectural, and then we will go ahead and create a construct. And this is like a drawing. We're creating an actual drawing DWG file. Okay. So we go like this, boops, and we say, okay, we're going to call this level 1 dash floor layout. Okay. You could give it a description. I don't care about that right now, but you can see that we have our division and the level showing up here. And this is important. The option that you pick will determine how your building is laid out in the final assembly. Okay. So we're going to pick level 1 because we know that's what we're working on, level 1, and it is the main building. So we are going to be opening that drawing, and we hit OK. So this is the level 1 floor layout drawing. You can see that it is created over here, and that little yellow lock tells us that this drawing is open and somebody is working on it. So if you were collaborating with anybody else, they wouldn't be able to open this drawing because there's a lock. Okay. And if you read the tooltip there, the first line says status locked. So this drawing is checked out. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to just draw the building somewhere here. I'm not paying too much attention to the exact location at this time. This is just for practice purpose, really. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and start to draw. I'm going to click on the wall tool here. As a matter of fact, if you go to the design tool palette, yeah, this one here, and click on this guy and go up to design, you do have walls here. And if you come down on the side, you do have some additional wall types. This tool palette can be found here. Okay. But we also have what is called the style browser, which is my favorite place to go. And if you click on this drop down here, you have walls as well, and you can pick from a bunch of wall types. All right, but for this we're going to just use the regular standard wall. We're not going to do anything too crazy, so I'm going to just click on the wall tool here, and I'm going to start drawing from down here, and I'm going to go up. So just like how you would draw a regular line, that's how the wall tool works. It is basically a line based tool. So you use all the same commands and functionality as if you were drawing a line. You can right click and you have some options here to maybe turn it into an arc if that's what you wanted to do. But you know, other stuff in here like change the style, the group, the width, the height, blah blah blah. We'll keep it at what it is for now, and we will turn on our author mode here. And the next thing I want to do is to shift my justification, which is, if you notice here, justify parameter, it says baseline, and the baseline is in the center of this wall. I'd like my justification to be to the left of the wall, so I could use the shift key to move it, you know, to the different sides. So I want it to this side, and that would be the outer side of the wall. And I'm going to go up, and I'm going to make this probably 20 feet. I'm guessing right now what this building measures. The back here would probably be, I'm going to say 50 feet. Correct? Yeah, 50. Okay, so I'll go across 50, then I'm going to go down another 20 feet, come across 15 feet. I'm going to come in. I don't know how far this comes in. Let's say 10 feet. I don't know. Let's go across 20 feet and come back up 10. And then we can just hit the close button here to close the shape, and that would close it for us. I think this is too far in, so we can move this by grabbing it here. Let's move it down 5 feet so it looks something like that. And if we move this in a 3D view, you'll notice right away that the structure is forming, and we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Now, the next thing we want to do is to check the height of our walls, make sure that they are 10 feet. Because if you remembered when we did our levels, so I'm going to go back over here and look at our levels. If we go back to our height column, it is 10 feet. So our walls have to be 10 feet tall so that it goes all the way up to the next level. So we check our wall height, make sure that is 10 feet. The thickness of our wall is currently 6 inches, but I would like to make it 8. So I'm going to change that to 8 inches. Make sure that your elevation is set to 0. Okay, that's important. So that's all for this. Why don't we add some windows in? And we do have the window command right here. Okay. And just like the walls, you can find the windows in the same places. So if you go to this palette here, we do have windows. Come down here, we have some other windows. And if you click on this, you'll have even more windows. But as I told you before, this is my favorite spot. So, you know, we come here and we pick windows, and you come in here and you scroll through and pick the one that you want. And of course, these windows won't be the end all be all. You know what I mean? You have to pick one and then modify it to make it exactly what you want. We have the first floor, and I just want to create some windows. It seems like we have a window here, a door at the front, and another window here as well. So let's go to window, and I'm gonna make this window to be, let's make it 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide. And let's make the height to be 7 feet, or the head height rather. And we want to drop it in the dead center of this wall. So what we're going to do is to change the positioning to offset from center, make this 0, and justification center, that's good. And once we pick this wall here, that window is just going to snap to the middle of the wall. Okay, boops. We'll do the same thing over here, just like that. And the window snaps. Let's go ahead and flip the window to the outside, just like that, because this side is the exterior part of the window. So we're going to do the same thing here, just like that. And the window is now flipped. Now, these windows are the basic picture window, and that's what we're going to be sticking with. So we're going to leave that there. And if we take a quick look in 3D, that's what we have. Yeah. And then we have one big door in the middle. Seems to be a big door, but I don't know what size door we're going to make it. So let's go down to doors. And again, doors are located in the same spot, like here, or, you know, in your design tools. Go to doors, but, you know, the same stuff. As a matter of fact, let's just pick one from here. And this time we're going to pick a double door. So let's pick the hinged double. Okay, so grab that guy, and we're going to make sure that our positioning is similar to what we had for windows. And let us set our door width to be 6 feet by 7. And I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to drop it right in the middle here. Just like that. All right. So that is our middle door. So this is all I'm going to do for this level, really. For now, I don't like that door. This door is kind of ugly. So let me see if I can find a nicer one. One with some windows like this one. So what we can do is highlight the door, go up to our palette here. We can right click and say apply this to our door. Yeah, there we go. So you apply it like that, and it would convert your current selection to that door. Okay, so there we have it. Now, one of the things we could do is to adjust the door frame. If you notice, the door frame is spanning the entire width of the wall. I think that's what I want. I'm not going to change it. But if you needed to, you could edit the door style by clicking that button. Come over to dimensions, and you have frame here. You can adjust the frame. Okay. Likewise, for your windows, you can do the same by going into the edit style and change the window frame. But whoops, we're going to leave that as is. I'm going to hit save here. And then I'm going to go up to level 2. Actually, let's go down to constructs, and we're going to right click on this and go to new construct. So we're creating level 2 now. Instead of clicking on it here, we could come down to this button, and we're going to just call it level 2 floor layout. And this time, instead of picking level 1, we're going to pick level 2 because we're drawing level 2. Make sense? Yeah. So we're going to open that drawing, and level 2 is going to be very similar to level 1, except that it will not have this door. So all I'm going to do is to copy all of this, except the door. I'm going to just deselect the door. I'm going to just do a Control-C or the copy tool somewhere here, copy to clipboard, come over, and we're going to paste orig. There's a paste command called paste orig, and I believe it is in here as well. So if you click on the drop down here, this is the one. This will paste it in the same location. That's very important because we want them to sit exactly on top of each other. So we're going to use this option here, and it would paste it in the exact same location. All right. So level 2 is pretty much done, except that I believe that level 2 have some smaller windows. So I'm going to decrease the height of these windows to be, let's make these 4 feet because it seems like they are square. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but these windows seem to be kind of squarish. So let's stick with that. All right. So this is what we have. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now, again, if we had interior walls, this is where you'd go ahead and draw them in, you know. Likewise, down here, you could draw them in here, or you could create a separate construct and draw the interior walls within those constructs. All right, so we have both of these levels. The only level that is left is the basement or the crawl space level. So I'm going to do the same thing here, new construct. This is going to be level 0. Crawl space. All right, level 0. It's important to organize your drawings properly and name your files appropriately so that as soon as you open up your project, you know exactly what you're looking at. Yeah. And so let's do that. And I'm in that drawing now. And all I'm going to do this time is to copy the walls from this level. So I'm going to say select similar. I'm going to do the same copy command. So copy, Control-C, go over to crawl space, and I'm going to paste orig just like that. But this time I'm going to make these walls to be 2 feet tall rather than 10. So 2 feet. So it's going to be super short, just like that. Yeah. And then we need to have some steps going up. I'm not sure how wide I'm going to make this. Probably the same width as this space in here. So let's see if we can do that on this level. So let's go to our style browser, or we could just click on the stair tool right here. And the width of this area here was, I believe, 20 feet. So this is going to be a really wide stairs. The height is supposed to be 2 feet. And the width is supposed to be 20 feet. And let's just draw this for now. So I'm going to kind of start out here, like, and just turn my ortho mode on. Right now it's giving me an error. That's okay, we'll fix that in a moment. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to just go into edit style, and in the design rule, just turn this thing off, and let's make these to be 6. And that should resolve it. And then the next thing I want to do is to go to my style browser here, and I would like to turn this into a concrete stairs. So I'm going to go down to stairs, and we do have some additional options here. So I'm going to just pick probably this concrete one, and I'm going to just right click and say apply to current selection, just like that. Boops. Again, it reset the thing, so I'm going to have to go back in and do the same thing we just did. I probably should have done this first, but yeah, there we go. The other thing I want to do is to remove this piece of material off of the step. So I'm going to go back into edit style here, and I believe it would be components. Let's remove these two things and that as well, and we're going to hit OK. So this is what we have, and now I can move my stairs using the move command to be in line with the edge of my my thing right there. Perfect. So now I need to draw some slabs. I need a 6-inch slab inside, and I need a 6-inch slab on the front porch here. So let's use the slab tool. Come in here, click on slab, and make sure that its thickness is going to be 6 inches. And make sure that the justify is at the top, and we'll go ahead and draw our slab around the perimeter of the interior part of the home. And then I'm going to just click on close here to close my shape, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the outside here. So I'm going to click here, 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 and then close. Enter to exit the command, and then if I come to my 3D view, if you notice they're kind of on the floor, I need to raise these up. So let's raise these up to be 24, and there we have it. So let's take a realistic view of what we have. So this is what we have so far. So we're getting somewhere. So that's in place now. I'm going to go back to my 2D wireframe, go back to the top view. I'm going to hit save on that. And I think we're getting somewhere. Let me look back on this and see what I need to have. So there is some sort of a railing type thing here, and there is a little planter going around the building. We could make this portion to be a wall as well and make it maybe 16 inches thick. Let's do that. So I'm going to pick this wall, and I'm going to say add selected. This time, let's make the width to be 16 inches. And I'm going to draw from here, coming down to here, just like that. And we're going to do the same thing. So let's add another piece of this over on this side, from here going up. And if you notice, the walls are connecting into each other. Perfect. So let's take a look at this in 3D. And I think we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Let me take another look at that. So we need to put this little extra piece on top. Seem to be in level with the floor. So I think we will need to shorten these walls here. So I'm going to make this 1'6", I think. Yeah. And then we're going to add that extra piece on top using the mask tool. So let's click on that, and we're going to use box. And I'm going to just draw a box over this area here, and I'm going to hit enter. or rather, let's type a height of 6 inches here. So type 6, enter. Rotation 0, I'm going to hit enter. So this is it. I'm going to put like a overhang on all the sides. If you notice the blue dimension at the bottom, I want the 7 1/4 to be the active dimension. So I could just hit tab on the keyboard just like that, and it moves over to that. So now I can type inside of it. So I'm going to just type, let's make it 2 inches on all sides. So I'm going to tab again, 2, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. And now I can just copy this thing or mirror. Why not? Let's mirror it. So let's go home, mirror from the center, and just like that. And then we will need to raise them up to the elevation that we need, which would be feet, or 1 foot 6 inches. So those would be the coping for those little things right there. And I'm going to go to conceptual here so you can see what we have. And that looks amazing. Now, if you wanted to see everything together, we could create a view. Yeah. So let's go ahead and save this. And what we're going to do is to create another subcategory. And we're going to call this 3D model. Yeah. And if you hit this green button, it will refresh your project navigator and organize stuff in the correct order that they should be in. Anyways, we're going to right click in here and we're going to just create a new construct, and we're going to call this 3D model. I don't know, call it whatever you want. And we're going to pick the lowest level. Okay. We're going to hit OK to open the drawing. And then all you have to do is expand your architectural drawing, and you would right click and XREF overlay each of these into your drawing. Okay. Now another way to XREF overlay is to just drag the drawing and drop it in. So drag and drop it in. So I have brought in all 3 of these architectural drawings into this drawing, and you can verify that by going to your external references palette. And you can see that all 3 of these are in. So when we go to a 3D view, we have the whole structure of the building now sitting on top of each other. And maybe in a realistic view, we could see what that looks like. Yeah. So this is what we have. I don't think we're doing too bad. I don't think we're doing too bad at all. So far, so good. I feel like the back of the building could go back another 5 feet. So to do that, we can come here, we can just grab this wall, move it 5 feet, just like that, hit save. Let's go over to floor number 2 and we'll do the same thing, 5 feet. And if you notice, the wall is moving together, so you don't have to worry about extending and trimming and all that stuff. I'm going to save that, go over to crawl space, and let's go back to 2D view. And we're going to grab the slab, rather the wall, move it back 5 feet. And then we'll grab the slab as well and just grab the dash in the middle and just move it back just like that. And that's it. So we hit save. And when we come over here, you will see this pop up and it says compare your changes. If you hit reload, it will compare all of your changes and highlight them for you. And it tells you which wall moved. So that's pretty cool there. You can turn it on and off if you want to do something like that, or get rid of it. So this is what we have so far. I like it. I like it. Let's put the planter in. I think I want to put the planter in. So it's this little, maybe 4-inch thick or tall sliver of wall going around. So let's see if we can do something. So I'm going to do that on the crawl space level, and I'm going to just do a wall here. I'm going to make sure that the width is 4 inches and the height is going to be another 4 maybe. I don't think I want to make it more than that. And we will stick with the left justify. And yeah, I guess we can start in the middle here. I don't know. We'll keep it like that. I'm not taking any measurements right now, but if you wanted to take measurements, you could use this tool up here. This guy, yeah. So I'm going to use the align tool to click on that wall, then click on this wall, and I can dictate what measurement I want this to be. So I think 1'6" seems to be a reasonable number. So it will adjust that wall. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to use the same measurement on the front here. So I'm going to pick aligned, pick my first wall, my second wall, and I'm going to type 1'6". Boops, delete that. So that's what I want. And then this wall here, I probably could line it up with the back of the building just like that. And then I'm going to mirror all of this on the other side. So let's go like so, mirror. All right, so that's that. And so we have our little planter wall, except that it is floating in the air. That's not good. So let's pick these guys and drop their elevation to 0, just like that. So that's what they should be. So when we go to realistic, that's what we have. Yeah. Okay, so it's not meeting the wall, so we need to fix that. So let's go back to 2D top. So I actually need to pull these in using the arrow to this portion of the wall here. Let me see if I can snap to one of these corners. So what I'm going to do is to draw a line here just to have an edge to snap to. So I'm going to pull that in, snap to that edge, and I'm going to just move this over to this side and do the same to this guy here. Grab that arrow, snap it to that line, and that should be good. Let me see. All right, so okay, so that looks good. I think we're onto something here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit save right here, and then go over to my 3D model, do another refresh, and you can see that it is showing me what is new, and I'm gonna just get rid of that. And so this is what we have. Let me take a realistic view here. All right, so far so good. So the main crux of this video would have been the roof, but I still have a few additional changes to make before I get to the roof. All right, now first thing is, if you notice, there's no floor on the second floor, so we do need to add something in there. But I also want to add a little piece of wall, or kind of an arch piece of wall up here that would represent this portion here and also be extending up into the roof at some point. But then I'm also noticing that for the columns, I'll need to have the slab on the porch here extend out some more too, to be able to hold these massive columns in that location. So let's see if we can get all three of those things done before we get to the roof. And so the first thing I'm going to do is the floor. So for this level here, we need to go back to that construct, which is this, and add it in here. But if you remembered, if we go to level 1, we do have a slab in here. Actually, not level 1, it would have been the crawl space. Yeah, I'm going to just copy this slab since it is pretty much the same shape as the rest of the building. So I might as well just copy this one. So let's go ahead and do a copy on that, and we're going to go up to level 2 now and do a paste orig. And if you notice, it is in the wrong elevation, so we need to go ahead and go to your properties and make sure we drop this to 0, and that's looking much better. So since we're here, we might as well do the additional piece here that we wanted to do. So I'm not even sure how far out we're going to bring this, but let's try something. I'm going to click on one of these walls, and then select add selected, and then I'm going to just continue this portion out 1 foot, so 12 inches. I'm going to come across like this, and I'm going to kind of track this point here down and then connect it back there. And if you notice, those walls connected into each other, but this wall is spanning the entire height of the second floor. So I do need to shorten it up and move it up some. So let's select all 3 pieces of wall there, and we're going to raise this up to be 4 feet 5.5. So that's where that is going to be, and then we're going to drop the height of the wall to match with the height of the other walls here, and I think that height would be 5 feet 6.5. So let's do that. And there we have it. So this is kind of what I want to see, so that the columns can come and kind of meet up underneath these beams running across the top here. Now, if you notice, when we come to plan view, we're not seeing those walls or beams. And in order to see those walls, the easiest thing to do would be to go to your global cutting plane, and we'll raise this up to a level where we would be able to see that wall. So let's move this up to about 5 feet, and we'll hit OK. And now those walls would become visible. Now that is important because there's a high possibility that we're going to come back and move this wall again. I don't know, but when we drop those columns in, there's a chance we might need to move those walls. So we're going to leave that as is, and we're going to hit save. And if we go back over to our 3D model, you'll notice that we have that pop up again. We'll click on that, and it will show us all the changes we have made. So let me X that off and go back to a realistic view here. So this is what we have so far. Yeah, coming on real nice. Let's go back to the crawl space and move this stairs or step back some, so that we can have some extra room for the slab or the porch. So we'll go back here. We'll go back to a plan view, and I want to move this stairs using the move command out, and let's move this back 11, or rather 12 inches. Yeah, so move it back 12, and then we're going to grab this slab here and move it back 12 as well. I want to think that is enough for the columns, but we'll see. I'm going to do the same for these walls. Grab it, move it back, and I'm going to grab this, move it back 12 as well. Hit tab and hit 12, and we'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to hit tab to activate my other dimension, and then type 12 right in there. So those became a little bit longer, but that's okay because I think that's what we will need. Yeah. So let's take a quick look at that in conceptual. All right. Now you can see that some clashing is happening here. So we'll pick this guy, and so we'll do subtract. We'll click on the slab, hit enter. And do you want to erase? I'm going to say no. So it did subtract it out like that, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. So click on this piece of mass and do subtract, pick your slab, hit enter, and I'm going to say no. And that did the trick, so we'll leave it at that for now. All right, looks good. So I'm going to hit save once more, and then we're going to go back to our 3D model and do a refresh. And you can see there all the changes that were made. Yeah, X out of that. And this is what we have. So I think we're on our way to victory. Now, guys, if you're enjoying this content so far, please do me the honors and hit that like button, the subscribe button as you're at it down there, and drop your comments and questions if you have any, because, you know, why not? I may just answer them. I do read a lot of those comments, so feel free to drop your comments down there. But I think we're getting somewhere here. This is looking nice. Before we move into the roof, I have one last thing I want to do, and I keep saying that, but I promise you this is the last thing, and that is to actually place the columns at the front of the building. Yeah. So what I did, I'm going to open up another drawing that I have, and of course you know where to find it in the description if you wish to follow along. I have a few things in here. I have two profiles. So I have this guy and I have this guy. and I have a 3D column. So this profile here is going to be used along the eave of the roof, so all around, and then the second profile is going to be used along this front wall here. And of course, guys, I kind of just drew these up myself, so these are more than likely not accurate, not to scale or anything, but you know, we're doing it for the grams. Anyways, we do have a 3D column that I downloaded from the internet somewhere, and but I had to modify it because it was so heavy. So I kind of removed the middle portion here and put my own thing so that it's not as heavy and will not slow down my computer too much. All right, but I made sure to keep at least that top portion and the bottom here. That will give us just enough detail. But I think this column is pretty close to what we have on the building. Not quite, but you know, it'll get us there. So why don't we copy this column, because that's what we want to do first. So I'm going to copy this over to my first floor. All right, and I'm going to just Control V to paste it somewhere here, maybe like there. Yeah, and then we're going to just grab this. Before we grab this, let's grab the crawl space and drag it in so that we can see where those other things are. If you notice, I'm not seeing these stairs, but that's okay. I don't need to see it. So all I needed to see was this line here that represents the edge of the slab. And then I'm going to just grab this thing here and probably move it to that corner there. I don't know if that's the first corner, but that's where I'm going to place it, right on the center where this wall meets that wall. And you want to make sure that the elevation here, or the Z position, is 0. Okay, that's important. And then what we're going to do is to use, I believe, the array tool would do a good job here. So if you go to the home, come over and you click on this drop down and select rectangular array. And once we do that, what we'll do is to come up to the top ribbon. So the column says 4, and that's good. In the row parameter, we'll put 1, hit enter. And then for the total distance, we would like from the distance from here to be stretched all the way out. And I believe this was like 20 feet. So why don't we enter 20 feet in this value here and see if that works. All right, so it looks like it's spaced out our columns nicely there. So I'm gonna hit save on this drawing. Go ahead and save that. And if we go to our 3D model, we will get a reload. All right, so there you have it. So our columns are now in, and this is what they look like. So realistic. All right, so this is what we have. These are some massive columns, bro. Jeez. Now, if you notice, the columns are much taller than this wall. So I do need to fix this piece of wall up here. So let's do just that. Why don't we go over to the second floor this time? And these 3 pieces of wall, I had given you guys a dimension for this already, but we're gonna have to change it to a base height of 4 feet and an elevation of 6 feet. Okay, so there we go. So I think that should work. And so let's go back over to our 3D design and do a reload on that. All right, so there we have that. I'm gonna close this off. And back to, let's do shaded with edges, because that's one of the fastest mode. Now, I'm sure you can see the problem here, and that is that the columns are not out far enough to where it sits underneath that wall above. So I would love to move those columns out some more. I'd rather to do that than to move this wall back in, which, I mean, we could do that too. Yeah, let's do that. I think that would be easier. So let's come back up here to level 2 and we'll go to the top view and 2D wireframe. And let's bring in the lower floor so we can see those columns. And also let's raise our cutting plane a little bit higher since we raised those walls up. So we'll probably need to put this at 7 feet. And then we'll grab this wall here and pull it back maybe about, what's that, 12 inches? Yeah. So that's how that's gonna look right there. So because this moves all the way back, there's nowhere for this wall to, there's nothing for this wall to be attached to. And so let's move it forward maybe 3 inches so that there's a little piece of wall for it to kind of connect and turn the corner, so to speak. And hopefully that will work. If not, then too bad. Or refresh my view. All right, so this is what we have. Put this back in shaded. Okay, so this is what we have, and I think that works for now. Yeah, seems like my wall is still protruding a little bit. Yeah, so still need to make some adjustments there. Let me see what's happening here with this wall. So this wall here needs to be trimmed away. I think we could use the fillet tool, so let's do that. Click on this wall, this portion of the wall. There we go. And we'll do the same thing over here. I know it's hard to see, but if I should click on both of these walls and isolate them, you can see that there's a little edge here, and you can just use this or even a trim tool to trim it away. TR for trim. And just bloops, get rid of that. And then that's what we should have. And then I'm going to right click, go here and end object isolation. And so that should clean that up. And so what I'm going to do here is to save again, go back to my 3D view, and let me turn off comparison because it continues to reset my drawing. So I'm going to turn that off and refresh. And these little pieces should go away. There we go. So this is what we have for the front of our building. That's looking good. Now we just need to add the roof on top. But in order to do the roof, again, we're going to be using these two profiles here. So just bear that in mind. So why don't we go over to our constructs here, and we're going to create a new drawing for the roof. So we can do that by right clicking here and go to new construct. And this time we're going to call this level 2 dash roof design. And then we're going to place it on the level 2 level. All right, so this is a blank drawing. And the first thing we want to do is to bring in the upper floor. So we're going to drag that in, and it is here. And also I'm going to go ahead and raise my cutting plane to 7 feet so I can see that wall at the front. Then I'm going to go to my roof tool here and click on roof. Okay. Now, if you notice, we have two roof situation happening here. This one is the one we use to do the initial layout of your roof. And then when you're done and you're satisfied, then you convert it to a roof slab. And so we're going to be doing just that in this video. And also bear in mind that I have 3 additional videos that was done in the past that covers a lot of other techniques of using both of these tools that I will not be covering in this video as well. So check them out. Make sure you have all the skills you need to work this tool. But yeah, let's click on this one here, and I'm going to just draw around the edge of this building. And as you draw, you'll see that the roof is starting to form. You know what I mean? So we'll just click here, keep going around just like that. And I'll click on this edge. And once you're done, you just hit enter. And just like that, we have a roof. And if you go to a 3D view, you'll see that this is a 3-dimensional roof. Now that pitch is too high. So why don't we click on the roof and adjust it over here? So if we go to the slope parameter here, we'll drop that to maybe 30 degrees. And the other thing here to note is that this roof has an overhang, which shouldn't be there because we're going to be replacing that with this concrete molding type thing here. So why don't we go and remove this to be 0? And even though it is 0 for the overhang, you can see that it has an angle. To get that angle off, we need to go to the edge cut and change this to plumb. Okay, so that is how that should be looking. So far, so good. Now, this roof is simple enough that we don't need to do a lot of things. The only thing I would like to do here is to convert this front portion into a gable. As you can see here, that is a gable roof. So we'll just grab this node and pull it all the way to the front, and that would turn it into a gable. How easy is that? So now this is what we have. Now, one of the first things I want to do is to raise the front portion of the roof just a tad bit, because if I don't, my little trick will not work. In order to get this thing to look like we have it here, I need to raise this piece of wall, or rather where the roof sit on that wall, up a little bit higher. So in order to do that, we'll click on the roof and we'll go to edges, and we will pick this little edge right here. You can see that it turns blue, and then we'll do the same thing over here. So we select both of those edges and we will hit enter, and you can see that we have both of them in here. We are going to raise their height up just a notch, maybe 10 inches. I feel like that's a lot. So it's going to be 10 feet, 10 inch. So let's do that. Let's keep it at that. So you can see that we have a little bit of change here. And if we go to 3D view, you can see that, or rather, let's go to a front view. Yeah, you can see that that piece of the roof is now higher than the rest of the roof. Okay, so that's very important in order to pull off my little trick here. So bear that in mind. So now that we're comfortable with the layout of the roof, it is now time to convert it into a roof slab. So in order to do that, you'll click on it and you just press the convert button here. And the reason why you do this is because the roof slab will now take it further to where you can do a lot more modifications to the roof. In order to add these things around the roof, we will have to convert it. Okay, so we'll do that. Now, we don't have any other styles in here, so we'll just use the regular standard one, and we will erase this current geometry. We don't need it anymore, so we'll get rid of it. So there you have it. So now we can basically select each piece of roof individually and make certain modifications if you want. With that being said, what I would like to do is to create a roof style edge that would pretty much be taking the shape of this thing here that we're going to be applying all around this roof. Okay, in order to do that, we need to go to our profile and we need to copy this little thing here. So we're going to Control C and we're going to go over to roof design and we're going to Control V to paste it in. So this is our profile. Let me go to a top view so you can see it much clearly. So this is it. And what we're going to do is to turn this into an AutoCAD profile. So right now this is just a polyline, but we're going to convert it into what is called a profile that we can apply to things. So we'll right click on it and go to convert to profile definition. We need to pick an insertion point. We're going to pick the top left corner here, and then we are prompted to give it a name. So I'm going to just call this roof eve profile, whatever. Hit OK. And so now this shape is no longer relevant in your drawing. You can delete it, but if you go to manage, go to style, go down to profile definitions, you can see that it is indeed in your drawing, and you can apply this to different parts of your drawing. So get out of that. And now what we're going to do next is to pick one of these roof, and we're going to go to edit style, then roof slab edge styles. So we're going to be using that profile that we just created to create a roof slab edge. So right click, create a new one. I'm going to call this roof eave style, and we're going to add a fascia, which would be this portion here, and this is where you pick your profile. Okay, and then we'll turn that off, and then we'll hit OK. So we have created a roof slab edge style using the profile, and now we are free to apply that profile to any roof we want. So we're going to start with this one over here, and we'll click on edges right here. And in order to see the edges, you can go to the top view, and you can see it being highlighted there as you go through. I'm going to click on this one and say roof edge, just like that. And you can see it being applied over there. You hit OK, and this is what we have so far. Okay, now it looks a little weird. That's because it's the only one right now, but let's go ahead and add the others. So I'm going to click on edge, just like that. I want to go to top view. Okay, and then I'll apply that style, hit OK. So you can see that it connects really nicely in the corner there. All right, so let's keep going for the other ones. So we'll do this one. And okay, I just want to make sure that I have selected the correct thing. And then we'll go over to this portion here. Is a tricky piece because it starts over here and then it goes over like that. But I'm going to go in, and we're going to go to a top view, and we want to get that piece. So let's do that. And then we keep cycling through these until we get to the other side, which is that one. And we're going to make it also change over like so. So that is what we have, looking really good. And then finally, I need to do these two pieces at the front. So I'm going to pick this one first, and I'm going to go here, go to the top view. So we actually need to do this small piece as well as this piece at the front. So let's do that. And then we go down to this portion here and do that. Now you'll notice that this looks a little weirdish, like so. And that's because this edge needs to be plumb, or rather square. So go back to the first one, change it to square, and that should solve the issue, and make it much nicer like that. Okay, hit OK on that, and this is what that looks like right there. Perfect. All right, let's go to this one and do the same thing. So go back to the top, and we will change this to roof edge. Make sure that it is square. Go to the other one. It's going to be this one. Change it over, and then we're all good to go. So if we go to a maybe conceptual view here, you can see that it's not looking too bad. Okay, coming on real nicely, I think. Let's add this profile here, and that's going to be another technique that I've never taught on the channel before, so you all are privileged to see this, but I'm excited to share this with you guys. So what we're going to do is to copy this profile. So do a Control-C, and we're going to be applying that profile to this wall. Okay, so this wall here is located in your level 2 external reference, which would be your level 2 drawing over here. But before I go over, why don't we save this? All right, so we don't lose it. And then we go over to level 2. Let us get rid of the level 1 stuff. So let's click on the column here, and we're going to right click and just maybe unload it because we don't need it. And then what I'll do is to kind of rotate this in 3D. So these 3 pieces of wall on the front is really what I'm concerned about. Everything else can go to hell for now. So what I'm going to do is to isolate these three little objects here. Yeah. And then what we're going to do is to apply something that is called sweep. Okay. And sweep allows you to modify the surface of the wall. So let's highlight all three walls, and we're going to go up to the sweep tool here and say add. And instead of using a profile, which we could have created a profile like we did earlier and pick it here, but instead of doing that, let's start from scratch. All right, so we're going to start from scratch and we're going to give it a name. Let's call it wall sweep profile 1. I'm going to uncheck this thing because this thing is problematic, but I want to keep this one. Yeah, so we're going to hit OK on that. And once you do that, you can pick anywhere on any of these walls to begin. So I'm going to pick maybe like right here, and you can see that it opens up the editor to where I can edit the shape of the surface of this wall to whatever I want. I'm going to go to a top view here so I can look directly on this thing. Control V. There we go. So once your profile is in, you're going to drop it right on this corner right there. So what I want to do here is to click on this, click on the original profile. Let's do add ring. I think this is the one. So click on add ring and you'll click on this thing. It'll ask you if you want to erase that geometry. We're going to say yes. And do you want to join or subtract? I'm going to say join. And so now you can see that when I select this thing, it was attached to my current wall shape. And my wall surface is now going to take that shape. Now, this is the magic here. When I click finish, you can see that the wall is now, or rather the surface of the wall is now taking that shape. And this is amazing. So why don't we end isolation? So we're going to right click, go to this option, and we're going to say end. And so we brought everything back. So this is what we have. Beautiful. What I'm going to do is to add another piece of wall or something on top of that to fill the space in between. So we'll just click on this wall here again, and we'll just say add selected, and we'll just draw another wall in here like this. Okay. And I'll just highlight these walls by themselves and isolate them. Go to a front view. And I'm going to move the base of this wall up to the top of that thing. What's the height of this thing here? I think I have it in my profile. Let me take a look. So 19 feet 7 inches. So go back over to this. So I'm going to raise the elevation of this to be 9 feet 7 on this level. Yeah, 9 feet 7. So let's make the elevation of this one also 9 feet 7. And then we'll drop the height of this to probably 6 inches, I think, or 5. Let's do 5. Yeah, so it matches with that. All right, so that's what we have there. Sweet. Let's end isolation. So end. And that's what we have. I'm going to do save, exit, edit in place. Okay. Click on all three walls, or rather it would be the three pieces at the top here. Thinking about it now, I only need to raise this front portion. So yeah, let's do that. So click on this guy here, and we will do a roof line, auto project to these two pieces. We'll hit enter, and so that would fill in that little gap right there. All right, so now that we have made changes there, you want to come here and hit save. So that's what we have for the roof design. Let's go ahead and detach that level. So this is what we have for the roof. I'm going to hit save. We're going to come back to the roof in a minute because we do need to add the little dots in there. But let's go back to our 3D model now and do a refresh. And so now you can see that this is now coming in on on this level, and you can see that the wall is going up nicely. So that's looking really nice. And again, you can just grab the roof and drag it in and see how the roof looks with everything added in. All right, so why don't we go ahead and add those little dots in, and that's going to be the trickiest part. So let's go back to the roof design here, and let's go back to wireframe. Go back to top. I'm going to use the box tool to create that little dot, and I'm going to make them 3 by 3 by 3. So I'm going to click here, place my first corner. I'm going to just click, make it 0. So this is the box, right? And we can change its dimensions over here. So make it 3 by 3 by 3. So it's really small. And this is the box we're going to be using to run all around this roof. Now, the key thing is to create a path to array this thing along the edge of the roof. It's a little tricky, but we'll get it. All right. Now, of course, guys, as usual, if you're enjoying this content, if you have reached this far, tells me that you are enjoying the content. So do me the honors again. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, the like button, that would really show me that you're supporting what I am doing here. All right, boot-ups. So let's go to a front view over here. I like to use this button and click on front because it adjusts my user coordinate system and allow me to draw on this plane. If you notice, the grid in the background is facing me now, and that's good. So what I want to do is to use a command over here, which I've used sometime in the past on the channel, called quick slice. Okay, and what this is going to help me to do is to create a quick slice through your 3D objects, giving you like an outline of that object. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to highlight the things I want. So I'm going to highlight pretty much everything except this front piece here and this front piece here. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to draw a line from here because this is where I want it to be, all the way across over to here. I need to turn on my ortho mode. All right, so if you notice, there's a little white line, but here's a trick to that white line. If I rotate this in 3D, you can see that it actually creates that profile and makes it into a polyline, so I can array things along that path. Okay, now for this one going up, it's not as easy, so we'll have to draw this one manually, but I don't mind because this is a much smaller piece to do. So what we'll do here is I'm going to isolate these so I can focus on them, and then I'll attempt to use the line tool here and draw a line, but I just need to pick the right edge. So I think that's going to be from here, and then we're going to take it up to here, and then this is going over to here, and then all the way down to which one of these? To here, I believe. And then back to here. Okay, so those are my lines. Yep, looks like it. So I'm going to go back to my world coordinate system, and I'm going to end isolation. And you can see those little white lines. Okay, so now that I have those are the only things I really want to see at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and pick these guys, say select similar. So I have them all selected. And then I'm going to also select my cube. And then I'm going to say isolate because I don't want to see anything else. What I'm going to do here is to explode this here and delete these portions. I don't need these parts of it. Okay, I don't need this part either. So this is what we have. And then I'm going to highlight everything again and type the command join, and that would join them back all together. Then I'm going to copy this piece of thing here. In fact, let's move it. Okay, let's move it because it's the only one we need. Well, rather, we'll copy it at this point because we need another one for this part here. So we have one on this path and another one for this path. Okay, that's all we need. And so we're going to go to the modify tab and we're going to click on path array. So you click on that thing, you pick your object just like that, you hit enter, and then you pick your path just like that. And so just with a few clicks, you have this thing going all around your building. And all that is left is for us to adjust the spacing in between each of these cubes. And so let's make that maybe like 11 inches. I don't know what the right thing should be, but that seems to be a nice number to work with. We're going to do the same thing for this one here. So let's go to the path array, pick our cube, hit enter, and then pick the polyline. And why don't we make this 11 as well? Now the only thing here is that my cubes are not orienting itself to the path, and so what we're going to do is to click on one of these buttons up here. I think should fix the issue, but I don't know, we'll see. There we go. So it seems like that kind of fixed the issue there. And so that is looking lovely. So this is what we have so far. Now, you don't have to delete this line. What I would do is put this on a layer by itself. So maybe we can go to our layers palette. So we'll come here to bring it up. And so why don't we create a layer for this path? And so I'm going to just call it array path. And we're going to make sure it doesn't print. So we're going to turn that off. And let's change the color to maybe like a yellow or something. And then we're going to pick our path. Okay. And make sure that we place it on the array path layer. I don't like that color, so let's change it to maybe like a red. Here we go. Yeah, I like that better. So now that we're done, we're going to unisolate or bring everything back. And so this is what we have, and looking really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save on that. Let's close this out because we're pretty much done with that. And this also, we're done with this. So I'm going to close this out. And this now is where we need to refresh or reload our roof design. So I'm going to click on that. And you can see that those objects were added in nicely. Seems as though they were added to the wrong side of the profile. Oh, jeez. So that's a real world issue that happens all the time. Oh boy. So I need to go back into the roof design. So open it back. And again, we're going to highlight all of these, select and hide those. Let's go back to a top view here. And let's see if we can adjust our path. I don't know if that works. Yeah, it does work. How much do we need to adjust it? I believe it is 6 inches. So I'm going to move it back 6. Enter. I'm going to move this one also back 6. Enter. I'm going to move this one back 6. Enter. Move this one back 6 inches. And then I'm going to move this one back 6 inches as well. All right, so I think this one is the only one that was the issue. So I'm going to go ahead and end isolation. I'm going to save again. This time I'm not going to close it because I might have to open it back. But let's go over here and do a reload and see if that fixed it. All right, that indeed looked like it did fix it. This one is hanging off the edge, but you know, you can fix that by simply changing the width or the distance between these things. So I'm not too concerned about that. But yeah, so these ones up here are fine. They almost look like pepper lights. It's Christmas. But yeah, I like how this is turning out. Now, of course, I'm not going to be getting to the windows in this video, but the roof was my goal for this video, and I think we have achieved it to some degree. So yeah, I am excited about that. So one of the things we can do from here is to create some views, like some sectional views to take a look at our design and just to see how it would look in those perspective. So from the home tab, we can come over to section and we can draw a straight line from here across. Make sure that your ortho mode is turned on, and once you do that, you click, you hit enter, and you pull your view window all the way to the back of the building because you want to capture the whole thing. Click, and then I'll place my view somewhere out here, just like that. All right, so this is what an elevation view of the building would look like. And this is a view that you could potentially use on your drawings, on your sheet, and all of that stuff. Of course, we can also do something like an actual section view, cutting or slicing through the center of the building and maybe looking in this direction. And let's place that one maybe somewhere over here beside this one. And so this is what it would be looking like from the side view. Kind of weirdish. It looks a little odd. I didn't realize it would look like this from side view, but yeah, you can see that you can quickly create elevations and section views from your 3D model. And the best part of it too is that you can export this drawing as an IFC. So if you're working or collaborating with other trades and partners and whatnot, you can come here, export your IFC, but you can also export DWF as well. And this is one of them that I use regularly. So for example, let me see if I can do one of those for you guys. I'm going to delete these views and I'm going to come here, delete these. And let's put this in a 3D view, just like that. And in fact, if I can get a realistic, I'll take it. All right, so that's the realistic view. You have to be in 3D for this to work. And then I would go to my drop down here, export 3D DWF. And what I'll do is I'll save it within my project folder. So maybe like right here, I'm going to go ahead and open up Navisworks 2023. And then I'm going to open up that drawing from this menu here. So open, and then I have 3D model DWF. I'm going to say open. All right, so this is it. And now if I click on this little walking tool here, I can navigate my model much faster. So this is what we have. Looking real nice, I would say. Yeah, that's pretty close to the actual design, if you ask me, in terms of looks. Let me change the background to maybe like something like that. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is what we've got. I'm surprised how this thing just meets up perfectly right there. That's actually quite neat, if you ask me. Didn't realize it would have done that, but that's pretty dang close to what's here, right here. But this portion here touches this part, and I just couldn't get that. I guess my my proportions are slightly off, but that's fine. That's fine. I think we're pretty close. Pretty dang close. All right. So yeah, this is what we have. Love it. Love it. Those are some big ass columns. Jeez. Man, wow, that's massive. Whoa. Probably needed a ceiling in here. Wow, these are huge. Jeez, I didn't realize the scale of this thing.